Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to another one of my daily Yu-Gi-Oh videos. And today I have this pretty special video for you guys. Now, I know quite a while ago I went over the Phantasm Spiral deck profile, and I know this Phantasm Spirals are not the best deck ever, but they can be so annoying to your opponent. And someone I know actually won locals with this deck, so the deck is not bad. It's not perfect either. But I think this deck is very viable, especially a little bit in, let me move this back a little bit. This deck is very viable, and it's very strong. It's nowhere near a meta, but it's very powerful, and it's very cheap. This is not the cheapest version. I do have a cheap dirt version on my channel. This one's a little bit different. This one's also pretty cheap. There's a few cards that bring the price up, but if you remove those few cards and put in a bit of replacements, then this deck could be down to $5 for the full deck. So let's get right into it. Okay. So right off the bat, we have a triple Phantasm Spiral Dragon. Now this card is basically your boss monster. So there's 3 different types of spells in the archetype, which are equipped spells you can only equip to normal monsters. And each one has a different ability. I think Grip gives 500, Wave gives the ability not be destroyed by battle once per turn, and Crash gives the ability to do piercing damage. So if one of the monsters that is equipped to destroys another one of your opponent's monsters by battle, you can special summon a Phantasm Spiral Dragon from your deck and equip that spell onto the Phantasm Spiral Dragon, and then activate the secondary effect, which is either your opponent discards a card, your opponent loses 1,000 life points, or you return one card your opponent controls to your hand, I'm pretty sure. But we'll be going over those, and I'm not running Phantasm Spiral Crash, just because this is more of a defensive version and 1-card charge up, but it's okay, it's a 1-card charge up, because it is a lockdown deck, and your opponent can't really get rid of it. So that's it for the first monster. Okay, so for the normal monsters that we run, we have triple Mega Smasher X. It doesn't have an effect as a normal monster. It's got 2,000 attack, 0 defense, and it's water type. And then for the other ones, we have triple Alexandrite Dragon, light type. So he does have a little bit of stuff that you can do with light attribute stuff and water attribute stuff for water Xyz monsters. But at the moment, I don't have any combos with those yet, but I'll be making some of those for you guys later. So that's all that is for the monsters. Now you only run a few monsters in this deck, but you only need to really draw 1 in hand. But I'll show you how to get those monsters later. Okay, so right off the bat, we have triple Pacifist of Phantasm City. Now this is your main field spell. This card is pretty good if you normal special summon a normal monster. You cannot special summon normal special effect monsters in turn you activate either of this card's effects. So this first effect, if you normal summon or special summon any normal monster, let's say this guy, you get to search any card, any spell/trap card with the Phantasm Spiral name in it. So that's really good. You can search out your Phantasm Spiral Battle, which is the trap card. And while this card is on field, you can activate the Phantasm Spiral trap cards from your hand. That's very powerful. And the main lockdown is Phantasm Spiral Battle. You can destroy your opponent's monster the second they get out on the field. So yeah, it's a very disruptive deck. It's super annoying to play against. Its secondary effect, if your opponent activates anything, you get to summon another token, and then if you haven't activated its first effect, which let me make sure it's multiple times per turn. Okay, so it is once per turn, so it's not a quick effect. So if you do activate a second effect, you cannot activate its first effect in chain. So yeah, during your opponent's turn, that is. So there's those 3, pretty nice. You gotta run 3 of them. It's like basically any deck that runs a field spell, you gotta run 3. Now this is a lockdown deck, so I am running double terraforming and double set rotation. Now I don't want to run triple set rotation because you have to give your opponent one of the pacifists, and you don't want to run out of pacifists because your opponent gets rid of that. They basically get rid of your Phantasm Spiral Battle search, and Phantasm. It basically gets rid of your searching. But this is a pretty good ratio. I found it very nice because the terraformings, yeah, sure, you don't want to get into them immediately, but they're really good backup for later on. and I'll show you another way to get to that later. I can pick this up. Okay, now for the Phantasm Spiral spells that I like to run. So I like to run Triple Grip because that's a 2500 level 4, which is pretty nice. And then I like to run Triple Wave because this is a 1-turn charge up, and you kind of want to just keep that monster in the field because the Phantasm Spiral trap cards cannot be activated at all unless you control at least one normal monster. So I kind of want to keep them on field rather than just have them do a little bit of piercing and then he'll die. And that's it for the Phantasm Spiral spells. I'm not running Crash because, like I said before, it's not going to keep him alive for another turn, whereas Battle, protect him from battle, and a higher attack will keep him alive. For the draw power, this is exchangeable since you don't special summon this deck. This is interchangeable with Card of Demise as well, since you can basically set your entire hand since there's so many spells in this deck. This is the very budget version. I don't recommend buying Demise. Demise is just too expensive of a card right now, unless you're deciding on running a very expensive deck. Now, you can buy Demise since it is a pretty good card for any deck in the future that tribute summons. But other than that, yeah, this is not, like, this works when you draw into it. You get to choose lockdown cards based on what your opponent has, so out of the top 3. Now we're going to go into the Phantasm Spiral trap cards. So, sorry, that was Pot of Duality if you didn't know the name. So we got triple Phantasm Spiral Battle. As you can see, it's kind of blurry. Phantasm Spiral Battle is amazing. If you control at least one normal monster, you can activate this card unless you control at least one normal monster. You can activate this card from hand if Umi is on the field, and the field spell of this deck counts as Umi. You cannot, let me add this one down as well. I'm only running 2 of that one. So Battle, basically you can target one monster your opponent controls and destroy it. Is it targeting? Yes, so you target one monster your opponent controls, destroy it. It also has a graveyard effect where you can equip all the equipped spells from your graveyard to a normal monster you control. So that's very nice. So you can boost up one normal monster pretty high if they field wipe your back row. So that's really nice. Phantasm Spiral Power is not a destruction, but it's a minus 1000. So this is a pretty good protection for your Phantasm Spiral Dragon. Because if they get like a 3k out and they're like right over the amount that Phantasm Spiral Dragon will survive, you can activate this from hand and their monster will die and they'll take 900 damage. So it's pretty nice. Okay, now we're going to go into the lockdown cards. These are the cards that you're probably going to be drawing into 2, 3, 1, 2, or 3 in your hand. And you kind of want to be doing that. So it doesn't really matter how many cards your opponent gets in hand because you're basically shutting down their normal summon or their first starting play. So we run triple Dark Bribe just to get rid of their spell traps that can be harmful to our monsters. Since we're protecting them from battle so much, this will protect them even more. And it can shut down plays like Zodiac Barrage can get shut down. And then, if they try to normal summon the Zodiac, you can get a Solemn Warning. Now this card is optional. It's a bit pricey for such a cheap deck. Now you can run another Champion's Vigilance. Vigilance is basically a Solemn Strike and a Solemn Warning, I think. Okay, if you control level 7 or higher normal monster, Phantasm Spiral Dragon, and when a monster would be summoned or a spell trap card is activated, negates. So this is basically a Solemn Warning, except you must control level 7 or higher. This is good, but since this card is a 1-card charge, this deck is a 1-card charge up to get into Phantasm Spiral, I do not recommend running 3 of these. Solemn Warning is limited, so you can only run 1. Keep that in mind. So this is like the basic 3. I also run a trap hole or a hole trap card engine, double bottomless, and a single trap tricks, once again to protect our monsters. And we run a single lose 1 turn, because once you get out your Phantasm Spiral Dragon, this card you cannot be activated because you do special summon him. But during the first turn, if you don't draw this in the first turn, it's not too good, but it's still a very strong card. Okay, now that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get right into... Oh, also, lose 1 turn is very powerful. Let me explain lose 1 turn to you guys. So basically, if any monster that is special summon, its effects are negated, and it's set to it's put to face-up defense for that turn. so it's very nice. It does not work against True Draco, but every other deck in the meta, especially Zodiacs, it's very nice. Now for the extra deck, I do have a Gymnite Pearl. This is the most minimal extra deck possible because any other card is too expensive. We don't run a toolbox because that's literally the only card we need because it's a normal monster. And then just to help with our trap hole engine for a special summon heavy deck, once we activate Rafflesia, we can choose any trap hole. She does protect herself with Trap Tricks, Trap Hole Nightmare. If an effect was activated to kill her, sorry. You can activate her effect and activate that and negate that effect and destroy that monster. And then if a monster's summoned, you can activate her effect and banish it, basically. So that's really nice. And just for the effect of Phantasm Spiral, the field spell, we have double token. And that's it, guys. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh content. It took quite a while to build this deck. Actually, I did do a video not too long ago about tech cards, and I decided to put as many of those very good tech cards as I could into this deck. Tell me in the comments anything that I did wrong, if there's any way I can make my videos more enjoyable for you to watch. I know that I'm not very good at this, and I don't have the biggest budget, but this deck doesn't need a budget whatsoever. You can basically go home, order these cards online, and everything else can probably find, because the lockdown traps can basically be anything. It doesn't really matter. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. I already said that, dang it. But don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell me your feedback. Bye.